Hello, my Arsenal Futurites. How you doing, my brothers and my sisters, my beloveds? You know, thank you so much for your subscriptions. Thank you so much for your likes, for your sharing the video, for your hyping of the videos, for leaving your comments down below as well, and everything else that you've contributed to this channel. Don't forget to keep doing it though. As you know, it doesn't cost a penny to like and subscribe and to share and to hype and to leave your comments down below. Keep doing it if you can, please. We're here to do a video here about our game, well, our, I wouldn't say it was a boring 0-0 like the game against Liverpool. That was really boring. And I still haven't done the review for that, but it's coming. I don't know why I should, but I will do it because it helps with the content. And I want to talk about that game anyway. But yes, the game against Nottingham Forest we had at the weekend, Saturday evening. I don't know what it is, but whenever we kick off late, we never seem to play well. But anyway, it was 0-0. As you know, I went for a 2-1 Arsenal win, didn't I? That was my prediction. When you look back on the video, I went for Arsenal to win 2-1. I knew it was going to be a tight game, but I thought we would just about edge it. But it was 0-0. But hey, and if anything, we gained ground. We gained ground on. We went further ahead of the likes of Manchester City and Aston Villa because they both lost at the weekend. Of course, Villa losing 1-0 at home to Everton on Sunday evening. And of course, Manchester City losing 2-0 to Manchester United in the Manchester derby in Saturday afternoon. So we gained an extra point. On it should have been 3, but hey. And I was really down on Saturday. I was really down. The Aston Villa defeat made me feel a little bit better, but I'm still really upset because we should have been at least. And a lot of Arsenal fans have been saying we should be at least double digits ahead of the nearest challenger, which is obviously Manchester City. We should be at least 10 to 15 points ahead of Manchester City, but we're only 7 points. We're still going to go to the Etihad, and we've not won at the Etihad for over 10 years now. And I don't know if we're going to win it this season, but it'll be nice. And we are anyway. We're 7 points clear, and we have to keep going. I can't remember who we got next. I'm trying to remember what's the next game we got. I've got to look at the fixtures, but we've got Inter Milan coming up tonight, which I'm going to come back after this review and do a preview of the Inter Milan game in the Champions League at the San Siro in Italy. But this game was a very boring. Well, it was a meaty game. Martinelli should have scored. He was the biggest culprit because he should have scored a very simple chance. Some say all he had to do was just place the ball next to the keeper, and it would have been a goal. But he from such a good angle and from such a near distance to the goal, he goes and hits it wide, and there goes our troubles. It don't seem like we've got any proper prolific goal scorers in our ranks. We should do with the likes of Victor Gyökeres, who was a bagsman last couple of seasons for Sporting Lisbon in a relatively weak league in Portugal, but he can't make that transition from the Portuguese Premier League to the English Premier League, and it's been a struggle for him from since he's come at the club in the summer until now. And there's been a lot of fan content about Victor Gyökeres. Is he the right man? Should we sell him and get someone like Julio Alvarez from Atletico Madrid? And there's even other guys being mentioned. But I personally think we should persevere with him. We can talk about this another time. I think we should persevere with him and just keep going and see what happens. But it's very concerning, our lack of goals from open play. We're scoring penalties, we're scoring from set pieces, and maybe even to a certain extent, our set piece goals are drying up. But we're not really scoring goals from open play, and it's a worry. It really is. We're scoring from open play earlier in the season, but the last few weeks, the goals have dried up, without a shadow of a doubt. The goals have dried up, and it's a big worry. And it's something we've got to sort out. We've got to Arteta's got to work, bring it to the training ground, and look at what solutions you can, give to the team for the team to start scoring in open play. Because we can't always rely on penalties, we can't always rely on own goals, and we can't always rely on set pieces. It's a bit embarrassing. A club like Arsenal, a club of our stature, and a club of our size going for our first Premier League title in over 20 years, and yet we don't seem to be able to really to put average meaty teams to the sword, and put them to bed. Because we should have beaten. I think we should have beaten Chelsea a couple of months ago when we were facing 10 men. We should have beaten them at the bridge. We should have nicked it 2-1, but we didn't take the chance. We didn't capitalise. We should have beaten Liverpool a week or so ago at the Emirates. Everyone's been beating Liverpool this season. Well, not everyone, but a lot of teams have been beating Liverpool, both home and away. And we couldn't even get a 1-0 win. So that's another 2 points dropped. I knew I was going to yawn. I'm so sorry about that. I knew I was going to. I was trying to hold it in, but I couldn't hold it in any longer. I'm sorry about that. Yeah. So teams are beating Liverpool, and also we should have beaten, of course, lowly Nottingham Forest. It's sort of as if it's the Nottingham Forest of last season where we went there and got a 0-0 draw, or we went there. I think it was a 0-0 draw last year. Yeah, and in previous years when they've been quite decent and they're beating us as well, even in the FA Cup. So we should have really gone there and got a 2-0 win at least, or even a 1-0, but we should have won that game. And that Martinelli miss was so crucial for us. But putting that aside, we didn't really create many chances. That's another thing. That's another worry. We're not creating goal scoring chances against not just the big teams, but against the lesser teams as well. Who are fighting for their lives. So we've got to get act together, and hopefully the manager, or as I said before, and I'll keep saying again, or I don't think long term is the right man for the job. And even if he wins the Premier League, I'll still be looking to improve on him and go and get someone like Luis Enrique to come to the club, to take over, or even someone like Hansi Flick, to come to Arsenal and to manage the club for a few years, take us, into the next phase of, take us, take us to lead us to domination, both domestically and in the world. Because I want us to win some more titles, and I want us to win the Champions League. And I'm not sure if this Arteta, I'm not sure if he's it. But I think Luis Enrique, he could do it with Arsenal. He's done it with PSG. He could do it with Arsenal. He did it with Barcelona. And I think also, what did I mention? I mentioned Hansi Flick. He did it with Bayern Munich. He won a title last year with Barcelona. And I think if he comes to Arsenal, he could definitely do that with Arsenal as well. So let's see what happens. If he wins but to be fair to Arteta, I don't want to sound like I'm trying to contradict myself, but if we win the league on Arteta, I think he deserves one more year. I'm not going to give him a 3 or 4 year contract or even a 2 year contract. I'll just give him I'll give him like a rolling 1 year contract and see what he does next season. If he wins another title, or if he wins the Champions League, or if he wins the FA Cup or the Carabao Cup, then maybe he's worth another year. But I personally think if he gets another year's extension, if he wins the league this year or the Champions League, he deserves one more year and he wins the league again, then just give him a contract because he's doing well. But if he drops off, and I'm not saying that we should win like the Carabao Cup, I want us to win something more substantial like the Premier League or the Champions League, then fair enough. He would have deserved another year's extension to his contract. Only if he wins the Premier League and the Champions League. FA Cups, I'm not sure, or the Carabao Cup. He has got to win one of the big two, and there's no more excuses because he spent over £1 billion. So a lot of the fans who used to side with him, we used to call them Arteta fanboys. They're starting to back off a bit now and saying that look, he's really gonna bring us to the finish line and go over that finish line. Otherwise, get rid and bring in someone like Luis Enrique or someone like Hansi Flick or someone like even Antonio Conte, someone like that who's used to winning trophies at the highest possible level. Anyway, the game was nothing much to talk about. Nothing really happened in the game. I don't think we picked up any injuries. No, I don't think we picked up any injuries. As I said, it was a boring, dull 0-0 draw. The only thing is Arsenal should have done, we need to stop sitting back and scared to lose games and scared to concede goals. A team like Forest should have been put to the sword. I said that before, and I'm really tired of saying it. We need to put teams to the sword, and we need to wake up and stop. We need to start playing from the first whistle to the last. Yeah, we always seem to play one half of football these days. it's either the first half or the second half. We're not seeing them play two halves of football, and the fans are getting so fed up of this. Half, we're only getting 45 minutes worth of value from the club and from the team, and a lot of guys who go to watch the matches. I suppose most guys who go to watch the matches, Arsenal supporters, work very hard for their money, and they're not getting their money's worth. They're only turning up for one half. So there's a lot of things the club have got to look at, and they've got to start stepping up and start, looking to play some attractive football, but also looking to win and win well and put their opposition to the sword and let us go and claim this title, because it's been over 20 years and there's a lot of people who never lived to see this. They passed away and so on. So there's so much talking point about the club and why the club are like they're stagnated and they're not going at full throttle. But hopefully, after all this kind of talk, I'm not the only one who's saying this. There's other platforms who are saying or talking like this. Guys on other platforms who are echoing what I've said. And, people are getting tired of the boring football, of the lack of goals from open play, and the waiting for a title, and not trying to knock City and Liverpool out of the title race. Just keep giving them opportunities, considering that both Liverpool and City are not what they used to be. They're a shadow of their former selves. They're still good sides, but it's not prime City of 4 or 5 years ago, and it's not prime Liverpool on the Klopp either. And we've got this chance to pull away, and we're struggling to pull away from them. But anyway, hopefully we win tonight against Inter Milan. I'm going to come back and do the review for that. Sorry, I keep saying review. The preview for that, and then of course this is just a review of the game. Not much to talk about. One chance for Martinelli. It was a somber game. It was a boring game. Timber, we need to hurry up and get Timber back to right back, because at left back he looks uncomfortable, because Hudson-Odoi was giving him the runaround. So I was told, and Timber's normally very solid, and he didn't look solid against Hudson-Odoi at the City ground on Saturday. So hopefully the likes of Calafiore can come back. He doesn't seem to like to play Lewis Skelly there. He prefers to play him in midfield. But, we need to get Timber back to the other side. Ben Wright's playing well at the moment, so he probably keeps his place. But we know that Timber's a better player better right back than Ben White. So that's a little dilemma for Arteta on the right side of the fence. But hopefully he can go back to that side and maybe bring someone in at left back. Nketiah might be coming back as well as Nketiah, and Calafiore is I think he's still a few weeks away. But Nketiah is around the corner. Maybe he plays against the weekend. I can't remember who we got. I'm trying to remember who we got. It's eluded me who we got. But if I remember when I come back and do the preview of the Inter game, I'll say it. And I usually know who we're playing, and it's just eluded me. But anyway, if you know, put it down in the comment. But I can't remember who we're playing. I think we're playing at the Emirates, because we played away quite a lot recently. So anyway, hopefully we'll get back to winning ways in the league again after some boring 0-0 draws. A couple of bad boring 0-0 draws. And hopefully we can score some goals tonight. I want us to actually go to Inter Milan and win this game. But we'll talk about that a little bit later when we come back and do the preview of that match. You take care of yourselves, and don't forget to smash a like, as I keep saying. And don't have to keep telling you this. You should know this by now, guys. Come on. You don't have to pay for it. And just subscribe and help to build the channel. And very soon we're going to be doing live cams. We're going to be doing live streams. We're going to start doing games as well. At the moment, our thingy bob has been put on hold. Our not our package has been put on hold because of late payments. They reckon I paid late, and I paid my money, but it's at their end. But anyway, so we've not been watching it for a couple of days, but it might be back on. But when everything is sorted out in the office here, then we'll let you know what's going on, and you can come and join us live for a live watch along. We're talking about football and all things related to Arsenal and even other clubs as well. And before I forget, we're going to talk about, I think tomorrow now, we'll leave it till tomorrow, or maybe later on after the match. We'll give you the ins and outs about Ranieri's move to Marseille. Yeah, FM Ranieri's move to Marseille, loan move. It's not permanent. It's just a loan move to Marseille. We're going to talk about that between this morning and tomorrow afternoon or whenever. Yeah, because at the moment it's so hectic. Take care. Smash the like. So if I waffle on a bit, but there's so many things to get out, and I want to make mention of certain things, so I don't forget to make mention of them down the line. So you take care, guys. See you later. Adios.